In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we added $1.5 million of additional sales for this e-commerce beauty brand with just email marketing in just under 9 months. Now, before you say you don't want to annoy your customers, we actually increased their engagement metrics and reduced their spam complaints while increasing their email revenue. Most brands in 2025 are afraid of email marketing because they don't want to burn the relationship they have with their customers. Meanwhile, the brands that figure out how to send genuinely valuable content with strategic segmentation are the ones that are quietly dominating their niche. This is exactly what we help this beauty brand do, so let's get straight into it. So in the 9 months before starting with us, this brand made $374,000 of revenue from their Klaviyo, and in the 9 months after working with us, they made $1.8 million revenue from Klaviyo. So subtract one from the other, ends up working out to this number. So to tell you a little bit about the client and how we did it, they're a D2C beauty brand. Their value prop is cruelty-free, non-toxic beauty products, and it's a replenishable item. That's one of the reasons why email marketing was very powerful for this brand. And to give you a quick snapshot of what they were doing before, they had very basic email automations. They were sending inconsistent campaigns. It was about 0 to 3 campaigns a month. And their email list was about 35,000. So there was a lot of potential, and they knew that they had a lot of potential, but it just wasn't being done. Part of the reason for that is because it was a very small team. They only had 3 people, 2 founders and 1 warehouse person. And the founders were actually spending a lot of their time packing orders, right? They were across everything. They were handling marketing, they were handling product operations, but they were also in the warehouse physically packing orders. They just didn't have manpower to help with this sort of thing. So they were extremely overworked, and email marketing, among all of the other responsibilities, just fell to the bottom of the priority list. But that's quite costly. So afterwards, what we kind of did was we helped them massively increase their campaign volume. That was a big bottleneck for them. But in sending more campaigns, you can't just blast send to everyone. So we made sure they were segmented, and we increased the campaign volume from 0 to 3 a month to anywhere from 9 to 20 a month, while maintaining engagement and deliverability metrics. That's really important. And this is also while being genuinely valuable emails, right? We don't want to annoy our audience. They've worked hard to get these profiles. We want the content to be brand aligned. We're not just spamming these people with discounts or, hey, this is a thing, buy. It's genuinely valuable content that is aligned to the brand, and it's personalized to specific segments. We also helped them build 10 fully optimized email flows. And this was messaging to hit every point of the customer journey, from when someone joins the list or when someone is just, looking at the site, all the way to when they purchase, and then after they purchase, different data points to help them turn into return customers and VIPs. For their email list, we helped them massively grow this from 35,000 people to 78,000 profiles, and you can see kind of the growth over here. This drop over here is just because in Feb, Klaviyo increased their prices, so we did a mass suppression, but actually the growth helped continue past that point anyway after that, but the return of those profiles was worth more than the cost. So I'll get into it a bit later. And as a result of the team and the work that we helped take off their plate, they've expanded their team to now 5 people in the office and 12 warehouse staff. So they don't spend all of their time packing orders anymore, and they've helped delegate a lot of the responsibilities that they had before. Did we do this specifically? No, they obviously hired the people themselves, but us taking over their emails help take a small but significant part of their workload over and help them find more time to actually focus on more important parts of the business and the high leverage tasks. So what's the process? Number 1, this is the most boring part, but it's research. 80% of marketing and sales is just understanding your customer really well, right? You can have the best hacks or tactics. None of them are going to work if you don't personalize it to the person you're speaking to, and you don't speak to your customer in the way they want to be spoken to. So we spend a lot of our time on research, and I'll walk you through very quickly how we do that. I don't want to bore you to death, but the way we do it, in essence, we have a super intensive onboarding process. The founders know the company really well, they know their customer really well, and we want to get every bit of that info out of their brain and into our brain, essentially, right? So we have a super intensive onboarding process. They fill out this form, which takes quite a substantial amount of time, actually. And they tell us everything about their, their tone, their writing style, their design, their customers, the mission, unique selling points, why people purchase, why people wouldn't purchase from them, what's the shipping or the overall technicalities, like how long does it take to get a product to someone? What do people say about it? What are reasons people would come back? If they have any issues, like what are common questions that your support team gets? Everything you know about your business, we need you to tell us in this form. But that's not good enough. After you complete this, we get on a call and we interrogate you for an hour on everything you've just filled in on this form, because you can write stuff down. Some people are writers. Some people, when you're speaking, there's a lot more. There's a lot of gems that you just reveal without realizing, or you get into a flow when you're speaking, when you're talking about your customers. Like a lot of the brands we work with, they built this brand from scratch, so it is a passion thing. And once you get them talking, they're just spilling out all sorts of gems, and that's part of what we do in our onboarding process. So once we get the founder's info, then we do our own research. So these are the usual suspects of where you can get really good insights into your audience and your customers. For this brand, they sell cruelty-free, non-toxic beauty products, and their demographic is primarily 35 plus women who appreciate quality beauty. So we are looking through Reddit of what people say about these kind of products, or what this demographic says about these kind of products, or these products, or competitors' products. We're looking through Trustpilot reviews. We're looking at Facebook groups of this demographic to see how they, think about these products. And we're using all of this to create a persona in our mind of who we're actually selling to. And it's only after we've done this that we can actually start building. So first thing that we start building when someone comes on is the pop-up, because you need people's emails to actually send them emails. Right? So the pop-up is probably one of the highest leverage bits of your email marketing strategy. For this brand, they had a really good pop-up actually. They came in, it was converting at about 9%, which was quite phenomenal. That is more indicative of the quality of traffic more so than anything they were doing amazing in their pop-up. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we didn't want to mess around with it. It was converting at 9, just left it, and it was doing well, but after a few months, it started to stagnate, which you can see on this graph over here. It was growing and then slowed down. And then after this suppression that we did, Klaviyo was increasing their prices in about March. So we just did a mass suppression to lower their cost of Klaviyo. And then, the pop-up still didn't work. So that's when we started doing some heavy offer testing on the pop-up. We tested mystery discounts, gifts, percentages, micro commitments. Here's some pop-ups that we've tried for other brands. So for example, here it's like a micro commitment is when instead of immediately giving people a box to fill in, you just have them question. You just have something to get their attention. And it's like, hey, do you want 5% off? Yes or no? Or you can do it in a quiz format. So, hey, here's this percentage off. Like, what are the reasons you're here? Or like, what are you most interested in? And you can click one of these. And now once you have their attention, then you get their email or you get their phone number or whatever. We tested gifts, we tested mysteries, all sorts of stuff. And then the thing we landed on started working again. And ever since, you can kind of see the list has consistently grown since. That's the pop-up. Then it's the flows. So previously, they only had 2 flows. That was the abandoned cart and the welcome series. It did the job. It was recovering carts, but it was nowhere near at its potential. And so what we helped them do is build a comprehensive suite of 10 plus flows across the entire customer journey. Like I said, from the point when someone joins, that's the welcome series, or when someone is just first on the website, looking at the site, haven't clicked on anything, all the way to every data point that we get between them landing on the website and them actually purchasing, we would build a flow for. That is, view a product, active on the site, view a product, adding an item to cart, adding an item to checkout, and then actually purchasing, all the flows associated with that. And then after people purchase, every data point that we have to try to turn them into a return customer, we built flows for. So if I just show you the flows itself over the course of the 9 months we worked together, added an extra $500,000 of revenue versus the previous 9-month period. And these are the flows that we run for them. So this, you can see cart, welcome, checkout, potential purchases, this post-purchase flow, viewed product, active, first or second order. Now, this is more of an LTV flow, specifically to help increase the amount of people that come back for a second order. And then obviously sunset as well. If people aren't interested, we don't want to keep sending people emails. Optimization. The thing with flows is once they're built, people just assume they're done. And that is partially true. Like you can just leave your flows and they will work. However, there is a lot of juice you can squeeze from your flows if you run ongoing testing on them. So the first part is just A/B testing, regular stuff. Does it make sense to send an abandoned cart 30 minutes after someone abandons cart or 4 hours after? We don't know. It's different for different brands. So we run these tests and we work out what actually works best, what increases conversions. And once the flows are done, this is what we start doing, right? So we build a certain amount of flows every month, but there's only really 10 flows you can build. So once we're done, we get to A/B testing, or we personalize the flows deeper, right? If there's a high performing flow, for example, abandoned carts. If the abandoned cart is performing well, then we'll personalize it to make it perform even better. So that if, for example, if it's a new customer versus a returning customer, we'll create variations or splits so that if you're a new customer, you, for example, get a discount. Or if you're a returning customer, you don't get a discount, as an example. Or if there's a hero product that you have that takes 60% of your sales, we will personalize some of the flows specifically for that product. For example, like you click on the specific product and you don't purchase, we can personalize the flow so that if you click on that item, then you get a full personalized email flow just telling you what that item can do for you. And it's personalized, right? You can't really do that on a normal viewed product flow, as an example, because you have 10 different products and it might not be as relevant. So that sort of stuff is what we do once the flows are completed. And that's what we did after we completed the flows. And it only really takes like two months or so to finish all the flows. Then this was the biggest driver of the additional revenue that we gave to this brand. And it's the campaign volume. Now, you can't just go from 0 campaigns to 20 campaigns without massively destroying your engagement or deliverability metrics. If you get 0, just think about it yourself. If you get 0 emails from a brand in a month and then the next month you get 20, you're going to be pissed off, right? So there's a few things that we helped do to make sure that people didn't get pissed off. The first thing, this went back to our research. It's just sending stuff that's actually valuable and actually stuff the customer cares about. And the second thing was segmenting the list. So we're not actually sending 20 campaigns a month to everyone on the list. Some people get 20 campaigns a month, but those are only the people that actually want to receive 20 campaigns a month. So I'm going to break down how we actually made valuable content. First things first, when I say valuable content, it's useful information that's brand aligned, but it's also selling. So you can see just some of the work that we've done for other brands. All of these campaigns are still selling, right? This campaign here, so this is for a 4x4 accessories brand. Every single one of these has a call to action at the top so that you open this email, you're still directed to purchase. But if you don't click the call to action, all right, and you're just browsing, you actually get quite a bit of value out of this email, right? This is like myths and facts of this, 4x4s. This is a bit on the founder, a bit on just you learn something from being on this email list. However, we're always optimizing for conversions. There's multiple call to actions in these emails. They're all giving people a reason why they should buy. But if they don't, they can stay on the list for a few weeks or for a few months and they won't get annoyed. So that's the first thing, actually sending valuable content. And that comes back to our research process. We spend a lot of time researching the audience. We spend a lot of time researching the brand, and actually, sending stuff that's useful to these people is quite a difficult task, but it becomes easier because of our research process. Now, we're actually really good at this. For this brand specifically, we were given full autonomy to send campaigns without getting them approved. Unless it was an offer or unless it was a deal. We worked with these guys for quite a while. We learnt their voice, we learnt their brand, and there was actually a situation where they couldn't approve some of the campaigns in time, so they just told us, hey, you know what, if it's just for these simple type of campaigns, feel free to send them. Like, we trust you guys are good. So we are pretty good at this, and that's just to show you how good we are. Now, segmentation. With every campaign that we send it to we segment all of our campaigns like this. And the reason we do this is just so we can get a crystal clear view on who's actually most interested in our campaigns. So for this campaign, for example, we sent it to quite a wide list. We can see exactly who's actually engaging with this and who's actually buying. So you can see for this, you can see that it's 0 to 10 day engaged customers are the biggest segment that buys from this campaign. So what that tells us is that people that have purchased before and have clicked and opened an email in the last 10 days are the people that are most interested in purchasing from this. All right, and this is where most of the money comes from. They have the highest placed order rate. We want to send to these people. If there's anyone we send 20 campaigns a month to, it is these people. These people over here that have engaged anywhere from 60 to 90 days ago, they're still purchasing, but they probably, it's a much lower placed order rate with these guys. So we still email them, but we email them much less frequently than these guys. So that's how we increase our volume and send a lot without necessarily, without necessarily sending to everyone and annoying the full list and burning the database. We send more to people that want to receive emails from us, and we send less to the people that don't want to receive as much emails from us. And we know these people want to receive more emails because they're actually clicking and buying on our emails, whereas these people are clicking much less. So we still make money from them, but we don't want to burn those people away. So yeah, that's how you do it. Third thing, when you're sending a crap load of emails, you need to have a crystal clear view on your deliverability. So we've sent over 1,000 campaigns this year for our clients, and this is one thing that we do uniquely. For every single one of these campaigns, we know exactly where it's landing across all of these inbox providers. Over 20 email providers, we know exactly where it's landing, whether it's in general, whether it's in primary, whether it's in promotions, whether it's in spam. And this is one of our proprietary tools that we use to know this for every single campaign. Right? We run a sale campaign, we know where it's landing. We run a Mother's Day campaign, we know where it's landing. If it's an educational, we know where it's landing. And we can actually pull this data for every single campaign so that if there's an issue with deliverability, we pick it up as soon as it happens and we can take steps to actually fix it. Now, this is very important because one of the biggest indicators of campaign revenue is just how many people you send to. However, if you send to a bigger list of people, there's a greater risk of deliverability. So for us to maximize how much revenue we make for our clients, we need to make sure that we're completely on top of deliverability, which is why this is so important to us, and we pay such close attention to the deliverability of every single campaign because we want to maximize. We don't want to have a single person that could have purchased that didn't because we didn't email them. However, we also want to play deliverability safe. We don't want to ruin our deliverability. So our analysis, we go super deep on deliverability, and it's a very big important part of what we did for this brand. Now, that's basically what we did. So if you're an e-com brand doing over 1 mil a year, I can give you a complete free Klaviyo audit for your business. And I'm going to look through your entire email strategy. I'm going to give you actionable improvements that you can actually take away and implement to make more sales. And it's completely personalized to your business. I actually do most of these audits. So it's guarantee you it's going to be valuable and it's actionable so that you can it's no obligation. You can take it away and implement it yourself if you want, and you will get value out of it. So why should you trust me? If the above didn't convince you, we're Hamilton Emails. This is myself. This is Don. This is my first client, our second ever client, and this is one of our more recent clients. We're gold Klaviyo partners. We're really good at what we do. We've helped 50 brands around the world, just like these guys, with their email and SMS strategy. So these are some of the notable brands that we've worked with. You might know some of these companies. I'm just going to scroll through, and we do good work. So if you just want a free audit of your Klaviyo, click below and book in a call directly with me, and I'll do that for you.